Yo, 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 and welcome to another episode of Roy's Podcast. I'm Roy Spencer.
And I'm Johnny Rodriguez, and this is Roy's Podcast. So, Roy, today we got a very special guest, by far the most special guest we've ever had, Shontelle Layne. You may know her from her hit single, Impossible. My sister was so excited when I told her you were coming on the podcast. How have you been?
I've been good. I'm feeling the Web3 burnout that I think everyone is experiencing now. You know, we have to spend all our time on Spaces and Discord and then podcasts. And it's like, I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. But yeah.
Probably a lot, but the weekend's right around the corner. So.
What is the weekend?
Yeah,
just time for more
work. Like the week just started. It's crazy.
So, Shontelle, I think the first time I saw you, like, as a, someone that was on Web3, because I saw that you had a Society of Derivative Apes NFT. Was that custom for you?
So they did, like, 2 different custom ones for me, but I actually do have, like, 3 sodas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love them. They look sweet.
Yeah, I'm in it deep. Like, I think it's, like, officially my favorite community.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good to hear because I have one of them too.
Yeah,
and I also have one.
Dope. So it seemed to have attracted a lot of artists and musicians. So it's like obviously like the perfect home for me.
Right.
Yeah, like
that makes
Cats
sense.
and Commander, God Cloud, like all the different artists.
I see Commander all the time, like when I join a space.
Or even like Scott Fu. He's a dope producer.
So I guess if I might ask, like, what got you into NFTs? Like, how did this all come about?
Oh man, how I got into NFTs, it was interesting because I kind of feel like all artists should not, the kind of, you don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of vibe. And you never know what's going to happen with your career. So I'm just like, this is going great, but I feel like I still need a kind of like safety net. I need some type of passive income. So I got into Forex trading because a bunch of my friends were doing it. Then I met a bunch of crypto traders through that community, and they were all like, yeah, fiat is cool or whatever, but it's out of here. Like, trust me, you want to get into crypto. So I was like, okay, another thing to learn, damn. So I started learning about crypto, and then through the crypto community, they started telling me, okay, you're an artist. You need to start thinking about NFTs. So I was like, NF what? You mean those like Bored Ape things are like, and I was still at that. I was still like most people, like I didn't get it. And I was just like, why are people paying thousands of dollars for a rock? Like a digital, like it was just really confusing to me. But then I was like, the only way I'm going to learn this is to dive in. So I did that, and I started going on Twitter Spaces, and I started like going out of my way to like look at stuff. I was like watching the Bitcoin Express on YouTube and just trying to dive right in. Then I started to get it, and I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. But then I still didn't know how I would do it with music, right? Because it was mostly like visual art kind of thing, and I knew some people who are into like fine art and whatnot. They were doing, like these really exclusive one-of-ones. So I had to think about like, how would I do this? Like this seems really cool. And I am kind of over like the foolishness that is the music industry and these label deals. And I just was like, this could be a good way to not only cut out the middleman, but also really do something with people who support me that they can actually benefit from, like not just the artist taking, like buy my music, come to my concert, just like something collectible, something you can have and cherish and even make money from later down the road. So I still didn't know how I was going to do it. And then I saw Kings of Leon do a whole album as an NFT. And then I was like, oh, it's a thing, like maybe this is something I could do. But I still was like, I need to test the waters a bit. I need to kind of feel out my current fan base, if they understand it, and if this would go over their heads or what. So I decided to kind of start small, and I just felt like, especially I hadn't released a lot of music for a while. I was like, you know what, maybe I didn't even know about the concept of utility yet, like that was a thing. I was just trying to get creative, like how could I package something that like a Shontelle super fan would really want. Because I couldn't figure out how I would convince someone to spend money on the Ethereum blockchain for a song. So I was like,
Yeah.
I either need to come up with like the coolest visuals ever, like a whole experience, or I need to do more. So I thought about it, and I included some what we now call utility. So people who hold the NFT would get exclusive merch. They would get an actual vinyl copy of the single. They would get
Wow.
custom artwork, because the artwork for my project, it was a song called House Party, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually had an artist do like an illustration of myself, the producer, and the other songwriter, and it's like an all female team. So we're just like sitting on a couch like at a house party, and it's all illustrated. So then the holder would also get a copy of the same cover art, but then they get illustrated into the cover art with us.
Oh, that's sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, and then still not done. The top bidder, because I didn't do it like this is the price of my NFT. I really wanted to feel out like, what do people think I'm worth? You know, like what would a fan be willing to invest? Like how much do they believe in me? So I did it as an auction. There were 11 pieces, and the top bidder also got flown out to Barbados to like cameo in the music video, and it turned out to be like a whole. It was so fun. Like I already fulfilled the whole thing, and it was just such a cool experience to actually be that closely engaged with your fans. Like we had like a Telegram, so I would get in there and actually directly talk to everyone and engage with them.
Oh.
This was like before I even knew about Discord, so it was like
crazy.
Telegram.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like how the ball got rolling for me. Just literally, I landed in the right place because I already was looking for something that made more sense for an artist. Like,
Right.
yeah, I was tired of giving 80% of my money to Universal, and
That's insane.
yeah, it's a lot.
I heard it was bad.
Yeah, and I was tired of like, Universal Music Publishing, like taking 20% of every single thing that I release, even though they didn't create it. They didn't do anything to get it pitched or placed. Because pretty much all of my placements, except maybe one, is like me, like my personal network, like me making it happen. So it was just, a lot of frustrations, and I was trying to find a way out and try to find a cool experience for the people who like really love me like that. And so yeah, it was really fun. And then I was addicted. And then I went all the way down the rabbit hole. I was going on, like I said, I was going on Spaces all the time. It actually brought me back to Twitter, because I'm not joking. Before NFTs, I don't think I tweeted for maybe like a real tweet for like 2 years. It was this weird thing where I had my Twitter just be like my Instagram feed or whatever, like I was like, whatever. But now I'm like so active on Twitter again, just because of NFTs. And now I work on part of the team, from Mark Cubans at NFT as well. And now I'm like collaborating with all these different projects in different ways, and it's nuts. I can't believe how deep I am. And it's like in Web3, time moves at like warp speed. Like 2 weeks is like 2 years. It's nuts.
Yeah, for real. The FOMO there is heavy.
Yeah. So now over like 100 NFTs later in my wallet, here we are.
Oh my god.
When I tell you,
That's
like, I'm
crazy.
in deep. Yeah. So not only.
I mean, you're on our podcast. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're in deep too.
Yeah. So not only am I a creator, but like I've become quite the avid collector as well. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like you talked about earlier about how, you didn't see it at first with like the NFT projects and stuff like that. Why would somebody pay all this money for, this picture?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, like, when I talk to my friends about, they don't really understand it either. What kind of like helped you like, justify going through, stuff like that, just for like the audience? Because I think like I don't do it justice when I talk about it.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Honestly, I think everyone goes through it. Like they don't get it in the beginning. They're like, I don't understand this. And they do kind of think about the punks and the apes. And then I kind of have to explain to them, like, because a lot of my friends were into like Pokemon, or they used to collect, like NBA cards and things like that. So I started explaining it like that, like NFTs are really just a token. It just verifies ownership, and it's basically the same thing as like a certificate of authenticity. So then this certificate can represent anything. So I'm like, if you're a collector, there will be cards that will be more rare than others, and there'll be a limited supply. So I'm like, some collections are kind of like that. That's kind of like where I start to make it make more sense for them. And then they're like, okay, I get it. Then I explain, it can represent anything, and it just verifies that you are the owner, and all the transactions are public. So you can't cheat the system. It's non-fungible. You can't change it. You can't make it be something else. So then I would explain to them, like, this is really important for ownership on many levels. So like libraries have started using NFTs as memberships, and obviously there's so many different membership type, club type, including the Bored Apes. Like, you own this token. This means you're a verified member of our club, and whatever this club gives, you have access to it. And then they start getting it like, oh, so it can be like a membership. And then I have to go, yeah, but that's not all. It can literally represent whatever you want. Like, some people are using NFTs as leases. Some people are using it for like fractional ownership of properties in real life and also in the metaverse, things like that. So I think, once you start them off, like, it's usually easy for me to like get people to get it when I start off with like the trading cards, or I say, like, I compare it to like NBA Top Shot or something like that. Then they get it, and then they go, but I don't understand. It's still a JPEG. Like, can I not right click save? And I'm like, sure. Right click save all you want. You have the image, but you're not the owner. So I'm like, almost everyone probably has like an image of the Mona Lisa or something, whether it's on a button, a little piece of like a printout or something, like whether it's a wallpaper or something. But I'm like, does that mean that you own the Mona Lisa? Does that mean that you have the rights to sell this thing that you have, or whatever the case may be? No. I'm like, there you go. And that's what an NFT is. Like, it means like, like for people who it's important for them to have the original or something rare, they need to be able to verify that they really genuinely own it. Then they're like, okay. And then I'm like, then there's more. You can resell these things and get money. So PFP projects, people will buy multiple of them so they can flip them, and maybe they'll keep the rarest one or something, because they actually care about being a member of this particular community or club or whatever, and some people just want clout. Like, I have the most expensive ape ever or whatever, so.
Wow, that was beautifully said. Thank you.
Yeah, people are starting to get it, but for most people, it's a bit confusing. Then I usually, like, for younger people now, because when I talk to older people about Roblox and Fortnite, they're like, huh? So, like, for younger people, I use that as an example. I'm like, well, you play these games, right? Technically, you already use NFTs. Like, you already like participate in this thing. Like, you have these skins and these collectibles and whatever from the game. But the only reason why we don't call them NFTs is because it's not on the blockchain, but it's essentially the same concept. So I'm like, yeah, think about the metaverse. When you go there, you're going to want to flex or at least show your personality or something. And so basically the NFTs will be that same type of thing. Like, it'll be wearables, it'll be skins, it'll be something, your art that you're going to put up on your wall in your little meta crib or whatever, all of these are going to be NFTs. And then they're like, oh, I get it. But it's just that, okay, it's done on the blockchain. So, okay, got it. And then, and I'm like, no.
And then some of those like even yield like greater rewards than that. Like, you can be up for grabs for drop boxes and airdrops and stuff like that. And
just
it
for
just
being
adds
a holder.
way more to the community.
Yeah.
So it's sweet.
That's when it starts getting exciting for people, when you tell them about utility and they're like, so wait, I can make passive income? Like, just for holding 2 of these things, I can stake them and just get money? oh, I like that. Or like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you hold one of these, you can get into these parties for free or concerts for free, or you can get things airdropped to you just because, you know? So I
Free
think that's,
NBA tickets.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I think that's when it starts to get exciting for people when they're like, okay, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, they see the benefits of like getting into NFTs and whatnot, even if
Yeah.
it's like not crypto, because our show typically like what we talk about is stocks and then like crypto,
Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, the currency or like the asset
Hmm.
itself. So it's nice to have someone on that's, you know, really immersed within like what these cryptos do, especially one of our favorites, which is Solana.
Oh,
We
man, we're
love
Mm-hmm.
bullish on
Solana.
Solana.
That's our big
Yeah.
one.
What makes you like it more than, let's say, Ethereum?
Because there's too much friction for entry with Ethereum. It's like the barrier of entry is so it's almost like to even play around with Ethereum, like you have to be rich already. You know, it's almost like
Yeah.
an elite, a
Mm.
very elite blockchain. And I feel like it blocks the average guy from participating, you know? Like
Hmm.
Mm.
imagine me wanting to like put out a cool project to my fans, and then I'm like, yeah, it's just $50 for one, and you get all this cool stuff, and then they have to pay $200 in gas. Like, you know,
Yeah. Oh
like
my
that,
gosh.
It's
that
outrageous.
doesn't make sense. And also Solana is way faster and way cleaner.
So fast.
Like transactions like instant. When someone is like, hey, I just sent you an NFT, like literally like a split second, it's already in your wallet. You have like legit 50 panic attacks in one transaction on Ethereum. And then you're like,
Yeah.
shit, did I set my gas high enough? If the transaction fails, there goes my gas and I still didn't get the NFT. It's just too crazy. Like you have to have like a strong you gotta be strong to play on Ethereum,
Yeah.
man. So I've like gotten screwed over so many times, like especially with the big drops, because
Mm.
you have the whales coming in and they're trying to get like 20 at one time and they're paying whatever gas, they don't give a shit. And then you're like
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, well, I'm not willing to set my gas at more than $100, but it's not going to be enough to compete because the blockchain is going to prioritize the higher gas, you know, the people paying more gas. So, yeah, like by the time your transaction's ready to go through, like sold out. And you're like, damn,
Right.
didn't get it,
And
you know. So,
and for people that don't know what gas is, when you're buying stuff on the NFT market, you have to submit a fee which goes by gas, and that's how like the connection and the transfer actually happens. But what we're talking about here is when things are being minted and dropped for like a start of a collection, you might be trying to get into that, and your gas might be completely thrown away if you don't actually mint it because you're just paying to like have a transaction be done. And so we're talking about the advantages here of using Solana because gas is much more affordable because transactions are much better on that network.
yeah.
And
So,
there like isn't any gas on Solana, pretty
yeah,
much,
it's
if you
point
compare it to
zero zero
Ethereum.
zero
Super cheap.
zero 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 whatever of a cent, which is like
Yeah.
so
It's unreal.
I love when I can make a transaction on Solana and all I see leave my wallet is the amount that the thing costs. You know, I don't want to see
Right.
like no extra charges. Like everyone hates fees.
Oh
Nobody
yeah.
likes
Yeah,
fees.
and so I just feel like it seems like 2022 is becoming like the era of the music NFT.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and
I
if you
agree.
notice, not many artists, I mean the really big artists that are doing the PFP cash grabs, they're just gonna drop them on Ethereum because they know like the clout chasers and the kind of like rich kids that just, you know, want to flip them fast and
Hmm.
make more millions are gonna like eat them up. But I notice a lot of artists are kind of like going towards. I've seen people even though I've seen more like video games and wearables and stuff drop on Polygon. I'm seeing a lot of artists going to Polygon as well. Solana, Wax, you know,
Oh yeah, that's a
yeah,
great
because
one.
it doesn't make sense, man. Like consumption of music is very cheap. It's never been an expensive thing,
No.
you know. And I guess there's a difference between consuming music and actually having like a collectible by someone that you adore or you know like you're a really big fan. So yeah, I mean I
Right.
suppose it's cool if you're doing some super rare, like really limited drop, and you want to make it like a truly a collector's thing, then sure, maybe you can do it on Ethereum, and someone, like maybe if you're a big enough artist or famous enough, someone will be willing to do
Right.
that. But I feel like for the average artist, and especially like emerging or new artists that feel like I rather play around in Web3 than Web2, because you don't like the fact that Spotify is taking a giant chunk out of like your thing. It's taking you like
Mm-hmm.
thousands of streams just to make like $50, and most artists may not be able to generate those numbers. So it's kind of like not really a fair game for them. So like if an artist can come into Web3 and build up even like a small like group of supporters or people who genuinely really love you, like between like 100 to 1,000 people, you can actually have like a really substantial and sustainable career without having to have like three other jobs. You can live off of your music only, and
Mm-hmm.
do pretty well in life just by having a core fan base who's willing to, like, every time you drop something on Solana, they're gonna just grab that for $50, and you get 1,000 people
Right.
grabbing something for $50. You do the math, like that's a good chunk of money that you can do a lot with. So I
Yeah.
mean, like we talk about Nipsey Hussle a lot because it's almost like he laid the blueprint before like NFTs was a thing, because he was the one who started
Right.
preaching about artists, being more independent and getting out of the label system. And he was the one who was like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna do a limited drop. It's only gonna be 1,000, and each one's gonna be $100. And everyone was like, "Dude, are you crazy? Like, we pay $9.99 for albums. Like, who's gonna buy that for $100?" And he's like, "Watch, and literally just anyone who genuinely supports him or felt like this is my opportunity to have a really rare collectible from like a really really prominent artist. They grabbed at it. Like $100, people pay more than that to go to a concert. So if
Yeah.
there's something really exclusive, there's only 1,000 in the whole world, and I love this artist that much, like of course I'm gonna want it, and I'm gonna pay $100 for it. Like if Beyonce, like dude, if Beyonce puts out something for $2,000, like it's gonna sell out instantly. Like imagine Beyonce's
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's only 10 and 10, and it's $2,000. Like there's gonna be collectors that are gonna eat that up. They're
Everywhere.
gonna pay
There's gonna be people that
for
aren't even in the space that are
yeah,
trying to.
exactly. Just to be like, whoa, wait, what? Beyonce's doing something and there's only 10 and I can have one? It's out of here. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I
What
think,
was it like opening up for her
oh my God,
on
still
her
unreal.
tour?
Still can't believe it because I was born and raised in Barbados. Like, I didn't grow up in the US. I had no links and connections in the music industry over there. I still have no idea how this happened. But to actually go from being a fan, since the days of Destiny's Child, like you're sitting watching MTV and BET, like, say, and the Beyonce posters on my wall, and then fast forward, my team is getting a call like we would like Shontelle to come and support Beyonce on tour, like be the act that goes on right before her, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
Sometimes I'm like, I still can't believe this happened, because I never take anything for granted, and I never expect that just because, I got signed and my singles did well, that all like anything like that would happen, to like share a
Yeah.
stage with Beyonce and literally see her perform night after night after night after night. I was like, wow, she really is the queen. Like I was a fan
Wow.
before the tour, and then after the tour I was like a super fan. Like she deserves every bit of success that she has, because the amount of work that she puts in, man. She runs like some artists don't even do their own sound checks and rehearsals. They have stand-ins and then they just show up. But like she'll run the whole show like twice in a day, like run
My
rehearsal, then run
gosh.
sound check, and then still do a 2-hour show like the same night, while also
Wow.
getting up early in the morning to go do like press and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? there's a reason why she's the queen, man. Like the work she puts in, that work, you know, like it's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So to be able to observe that, I really learned a lot too, you know, just what it takes to be an artist on that level. And then it was cool because she was cool and her whole family was cool. It wasn't one of those tours where they separate the supporting acts from the main artist. Like they were like, no, everyone eats together in the same dining hall. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
wow.
interesting. Like even Beyonce's mother made a birthday cake for my DJ because his birthday fell on a day during the tour. And I was just like, okay, this family is really cool, man. Like we were like legit just hanging out with Jay-Z and Solange at the after parties and stuff. And they didn't say, oh, you can't be in our booth. You got to be over here. Like everyone was welcome, you know, and that was really cool.
So you were hanging out with Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Yep.
That's
Maybe
nuts.
I'll NFT those
What a
moments.
time.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I feel like that might be a thing too now that we just brought that up. Like some artists, just the same way the sports people are doing it with like highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably gonna be a thing with music.
Like catching a moment
Yeah,
in time with you guys. Wow. That would
yeah,
be a
I think
great
that.
Would
idea.
that be photography?
Yeah, probably most
Like
likely, or like short clips of a performance
short
or
clips?
something. Yeah, I feel like that's probably gonna be a thing.
I could see that, like photography and,
Yeah.
like clips, what you were just saying. I could see that coming after
Yep.
this music wave because I
Yeah,
think music is definitely going to be the dominant thing
for
with
sure.
2022.
I think it's what's gonna really open up the NFT market, like cause like mass adoption, like because
Mm-hmm.
music is such a already like a huge consumer product. It's like there's mad people who listen to music all day, every day. It's like a thing for everybody. So
Oh
once you
yeah.
figure out the music thing, everyone's just gonna flood in, you know? So I feel like music is gonna be really important for like mass adoption of like crypto and NFTs because now you're gonna like how I had to spend a significant amount of time actually like trying to onboard and educate, you know, my current fan base because I'm like, if they don't get it, it doesn't matter if I put it out. Like, who's gonna collect it? Like, I
Right.
need them to be on board, you know. So
Yeah.
I had to go. I actually started at first by sharing content about NFTs, and then I was like, it needs to come from me. Like, I need to explain it to them. So then I started actually making content where I was like breaking it down and explaining it to them and trying to explain like why it's important for fans to support artists in this way as opposed to the, you know, the typical web 2 way where you kind of think that you're supporting your favorite artist but you're really more supporting a giant multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. And then
Yeah.
I feel
Hmm.
and the more I try to explain it to them, the more they get it. They're like they actually start getting pissed. Like, hold up. So when I think that I bought your album, like the money is not going to you, and I'm like, no, dude, no. And they're like, what? I don't like that. You know, I think
Yeah.
the more that fans
Right.
realize where their money is going when they spend it on you, the more they're gonna be more likely to want to support you in a different way. So yeah,
I mean, I feel like there definitely has to be a level of talent for every, artist that makes it. But
yeah,
at a certain point, these conglomerates will push artists that, make them money. And so an artist that could be more talented or, just better for that moment in
yeah,
time, you know what I mean?
yep,
I feel like this will really empower that as well.
yep, for sure, man. Like for there's some artists that are doing really, really well right now in Web3, and hardly anyone knows who they are IRL, but I can guarantee you that they're making tons more money than their peers that are in the current Web2 ecosystem and that are signed to labels, even if they're famous. Like, even the ones that you think are like balling and whatever, trust me, like, all of that, most of that is a facade for the majority, you know? So,
Like
Hmm.
Ja Rule.
yeah, yeah, dude, I like so many, it just, because artists are really getting screwed and we see it time and time again. It happened to Prince. It happened to TLC. It happened to I'm trying to think of someone like more recent, Taylor Swift. When she was
Oh
like
yeah.
battling the DSPs and the labels, it happened to, like, yeah, this is not, no one is safe from this, you know what I mean? And when artists start realizing what's happening, they get really, really upset and really, really depressed,
Right.
So I think they're gonna start really flooding over here when they find out that their friends who did go into Web3 are legit making more money than them. And like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
even though they feel like, but no one even knows you. How are you doing this? Like, what the hell? And then they're able to say, well, because I've built a community around me, and these people really love me, and they're not like fake fans. They're not like just the fickle fans who just like whatever's hot right now, or just follow
Right.
people because they already have a million followers. Like, they don't care about that stuff. They generally just like me, and they
Mm-hmm.
want to
Right.
feel like they're supporting me and not a corporation. So yeah, I think once other artists, even the ones that are signed, I think another thing you'll start seeing is that labels, because they grab everything. So now they have 360 deals where they literally take, before a recording deal just looked like, okay, we're going to pump some money into you and then we're going to recoup and we're going to take a certain percentage of sales. Now they take
Right.
also touring, merch,
Oh my
basically
gosh.
your likeness. So if you go do a film or you get in a TV series or a Netflix show or something, whatever you make, they're going to take a percentage of that. Like literally everything that you do, they take some. And that's really not cool or really not fair because they invested in your music career.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that even after they recoup, they still keep taking the lion's share. Like I feel like I get it. Like take the lion's share until the artist recoups. Once they recoup
Right.
it, the deal should revert back to something more fair, like even if it's a 50-50 split of earnings. But sheesh, like,
Mm-hmm.
man, like a lot of artists are at the top of the charts and they're still at home in the basement, dude. That crib that you
Right.
Wow.
see in the video is just rented for the purpose of the video. It's not where they live or anything. Half the experiences on Instagram that you see, I'm on a yacht or whatever, it's really nothing for a group of friends to like throw in $100 each and like rent a yacht for a couple hours,
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
so there's ways to kind of like sell this lifestyle, but for a lot of artists, it's not really real. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
more so the hip hop artists are able to do that because a lot of them get money in other ways. And like a lot of them had
Right.
money already before they were famous. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they were like already hood rich. So they can flex for real. But
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot of artists really, it even happened to Lady Gaga. Remember, she was like, I'm still in the same house that I grew up in New York with my parents. And everyone was
I
like,
didn't know
what?
that.
And she's like, yeah, because I got no money, because I spend all of it being Lady Gaga, and the label doesn't give me a budget. And now
Oh my
I'm like
god.
spending more than I'm making because I make such a little bit from my cut from the label that I can't keep up. And so I filed for bankruptcy, and all of this happened. So
That's so sad. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
with all that, like, why aren't people, like artists especially, flocking over to like Web3 and like, I mean, you talked about it. Is it just the labels? They have such a grab on all these people that they just can't get away.
yeah, a lot of that's the other bad thing about the deals too. Like they're trapped, they're stuck. And some of them haven't recouped. Maybe their album didn't, the first one didn't recoup. So then the label's like, well, we're not putting any more money into you, but we're also not letting you
Right.
go because you owe us 5 albums. And then you're like, but bro, if you're not gonna, how do I get the other 4 albums out to
Yeah.
get out of this if like I'm not getting any more budget? And then also because you're locked into this deal, you don't have the freedom to say, okay, fine, I'm gonna try it on my own. Fine, I'm gonna just see if I could throw some stuff up on Spotify or SoundCloud, or you just
Mm-hmm.
do some stuff on YouTube and figure it out. Legally, you can't do anything. They'll like
Mm-hmm.
every
Right.
time you try to do something, the people will get a cease and desist, and then you have a case, and they're like trying to sue you, and it's really like
Oh my
bad.
god.
And so they're,
That's so
Sounds
sad.
horrible.
yeah, so I call them like slavery deals because any deal that makes money off like your back while you do all the hard work is
Mm-hmm.
like slavery. You know what I mean? It's like you
Mm-hmm.
slave, you do all the hard work,
Right.
and then they make money off of the hard work that you're doing. So yeah, it's not cool. And I've been doing the best I can, to spread the word so that the artists that haven't already gotten tied up into deals can know that they have this as an option, which leads us to 1331, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
1331 Records, that's the project that you kind of at the head front with. For our listeners or anyone who doesn't understand, like, what is the difference between that and then just a record label? Like, because they both would be bolstering people, like helping them get views and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So essentially 1331 functions in exactly the same way that a record label functions, meaning that this is what labels are supposed to do: artist development. They're supposed to help you get your music produced. They're supposed to provide you with the music videos to go along with, the music. And they're supposed to obviously handle the distribution and the marketing and promotion of the artists and, and of their albums, singles, whatever the case may be. Where we differ from these traditional labels is that our deals intentionally, because we're artist centered, we want to have a blueprint for how to treat artists better and to show that a label can be a successful business without being greedy. So we don't touch any intellectual property of the artist. We don't believe you should own a person. Like, in what time are we? Like, I own you. That's not cool, right? So we don't own the artist. We don't own their intellectual property. We don't touch their master rights. So they, even after they come through, they have a deal with us, we have no rights to their master. Like, we don't have control of what they do with their music. They can take it and do whatever they want, and that is the kind of control that you should have if you're the creator of something. You shouldn't have to beg for permission to do something with something that you created. It should be yours. It shouldn't belong to someone else just because they are helping you get it to people's ears. That's not cool. So literally the other layer of what we do, which I'm sure labels they're probably already building out departments for this. But because we're basically functioning as like a pipeline, like bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. So for artists that usually function in the Web 2 space, we're just literally bridging the gap between them and Web 3. So all we do is give them all the tools necessary to get there, all the education they need. Most of these artists probably may never have purchased an NFT. They don't have a MetaMask. They don't have a Phantom wallet. They don't even know how to participate. So so we're trying to build artists and prepare them for Web 3, not for Web 2, right? So most labels are just focusing on the traditional way of doing things. Like we develop the artists, we put them out on DSPs and whatnot. So instead of getting an album, you'll get an NFT collection, 1,000-piece collection, right? Which then we would also take the responsibility, just like a label, for promoting and marketing and helping you build that community that's actually going to support you. And then you get to, once your project is launched, it doesn't come out under 1331 because we don't own it. You own it. So it comes out under you, your name. You're the owner, and you have full creative control. You also have full intellectual rights. We don't touch anything. And you go on your way. The only thing that we take is 5% of whatever the earnings of your collection are. 5%, which is like
way better.
Literally just to cover like devs got to get paid. Right. We don't want to be one of those companies that expects people to do everything for free, So like literally just to put it back towards the next thing. The artist also gets a $20,000 backing, so that $20,000 is going to cover like everything that I just said. And then we also don't do that gatekeeping thing that labels do, where they force you to work with certain people, or you want to work with producer X, and then they're like, no, you're on Universal and they're signed to Atlantic, so you can't work with them. And this person might be like your friend or the person that you make the best music with, and you literally legally can't even work with them. and it actually causes a lot of like friendships to break up and a lot of weirdness and fighting between artists, and that's not
That's so sad.
yeah, it's very sad. So yeah, that's what 1331 is doing, like literally to even participate you have to have a phantom wallet because we are launching on Solana. and
Hmm.
Hell yeah.
and the way that we're going to find this artist is that we will be accepting 5,000 song submissions for free. You don't even have to pay to submit. The only thing you have to do to submit is set up a phantom wallet. And literally, the process of going to the website and submitting your song shows you exactly how to download the Solana wallet, the Phantom wallet. Sorry, it shows you like all the security information that you're gonna need. Like, don't give out your seed phrase. Make sure you store it. Don't lose it, or you're screwed. All that
Yeah.
information they get, and so what it means is that by the time we get all these 5,000 submissions, we would have literally just onboarded 5,000 people onto the Solana blockchain using the Phantom wallet. And now they're in a position to purchase their first NFT or release their first collection on the blockchain because now they're set up and ready to go.
I've never even thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's like we're like onboarding like a lot of people all at once, and we have a lot of submissions already. So I was kind of like, I was like talking to the team. I'm like, guys, we need to actually reach out to Solana and let them know, like, dude, like we're literally bringing like a wave of 5,000 submissions over
Yeah.
here and see,
Wow.
like what we could do with that. But yeah, so it's pretty exciting. We've been running spaces like nightly. We had a 5 hour one. I thought I was gonna die. A 5 hour spaces on Twitter last night, and I was just like, damn. But this is the work it takes. You gotta keep getting the word out there, and that's the best way we know how to get the word out there directly to the community is through Twitter. Because you could go and pay for like advertising on Yahoo Finance or whatever, but who are you reaching? Like,
Right.
people that are still not really here yet. So that's
Hmm.
what we're trying to do. Meet the artists where they're at. They're at Web2. Now we need to bring you over here and show you that you can actually have, like using Web3 and blockchain technology, you can actually have like a sustainable career. And
Right.
we'll teach you all of that. Like we have a Discord where we're connecting all the different talents. So if you're an artist, you could just come into our Discord and be like, hey, I'm trying to work on XYZ. I'm looking for a producer. And someone's probably going to pop up like, hey, hit me up in the DMs, let's talk. And so it's
Yeah.
Wow.
a cool way we're networking everybody, like promoters, like people who do events, so that the artists have direct access. Because that's always another problem with the current music system, like how it's set up. Artists don't really get to know what's going on. There's always like a team of people like between them. And
Right.
like for example, personally, in my opinion, I've had situations where I found this artist either doesn't like me or I'm like, I have beef with you. Why? And then they're like, well, you didn't want to collaborate with me. And I'm like, bro, like I didn't even know you sent me something.
Right.
Like, dude, like I didn't even know like you tried to like do something with me. So I feel like artists being able to have direct interaction with the people that they're going to be working with is something that I would like to see moving forward because it cuts out all that. And then yeah, if you're not caught up in a traditional label deal and you're just messing around, playing around in Web3, you can totally do stuff like run a space on Twitter or hop in a Discord and be like, yo, want to collab? And just freely do it without like having to ask your manager, and then their manager has to call the other person's manager, and then you have to like ask the label for permission, and then someone has to pay like a fee, for, oh my god, it's too much. And to
This
me,
this really is like power to the people.
yeah, and
I
all of that
love it.
blocks creativity. So it is power to the people and power to the artists, and that's why we want
Hmm.
to, like, we know the labels are coming over here, so we're just like, look, we want to make the culture, we want to like change the culture and make it so loud, like make so many artists in Web3 like know what the options, like they have options like this, so that when the big labels do come and wiggle their way in and start trying to offer stupid deals to Web3 artists, they'll get shut down immediately. Like, get out of here, you know, like, are you insane? Like, hell no, I would never sign that, you know? So yeah, that's what we want to do, lay out the blueprint, because we know like there's no way that we could compete with Universal, you know, but we're not trying to do what they're trying to do. We're not trying to make the world's next biggest artist that's going to be like #1 in the world and whatever, because we're trying to get away from that. We're trying to be the home for artists. Like, some artists are like, dude, I just love playing in coffee shops, and like, I just hope that someone likes my music enough to want to pay to see me perform, and like, if I drop a single, like, support it, you know, like honestly, all artists don't really want that. And so this is like kind of like an outlet for maybe just an artist who's happy being underground, but it would be still nice to actually make some money, you know, because you're an underground artist, you don't have this fan base of millions. Like, how are you going to make money from Spotify? How? Like, you're never going to make enough streams to make that make sense for you, you know? So you would have to be still really good at building a community, so that at least, and usually that would mean a local community, because it will be people who live where you're at, right? Who are going to come and see you perform, maybe like weekly, or, you know, however often you do your shows or whatever. But yeah, there's not really any room for them to make money like that. So most artists who are like that, they also have some other job. And guess what? That's a problem, because it means now you're busy. You don't even have the time to put into your art and craft. So we want artists to be able to use this blockchain tech to actually be able to have a full-time career with what they're passionate about, you know? Like, you can pay the bills even though you just got like 500 people who mess with you, real. It's enough to keep you going, and have some left over to put back into yourself, so that you can keep giving them more music. And to me, this makes so much more sense as a fair business model than what's currently happening. And so at least if we could set the example first, labels will start coming in and saying, okay, I see that we're not going to get any traction over here unless we do more fair deals, like what 1331 is doing, you know? That's why we're here. We're the early guys. We're just bootstrapped.
The earliest.
Yeah, trying to like liberate the artist, man. Because it's not, I just see, especially for artists who don't, maybe because every artist is not like me. Every artist doesn't write or create their own music too. Some people need help with that. They need someone to like create the music for them, or help them write or something. And what it means is that those artists don't get publishing. Like, if someone else is writing your song, you would have to be Beyonce or Rihanna or some like really big artists they literally can just tell the writer, well, I'm taking, even though I didn't write it, I'm going to take 50% of your publishing, because guess what? You don't get a me song unless I sing it. And so, because they want passive income as well. Like, you think Beyonce's not just going to be like, oh, I got to perform to make money all the time. She wants to go to bed and make money in her sleep too. You know, so she's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna need a nice chunk of that publishing to sing this song. So, you know, it kind of puts songwriters in a shitty place too, because now they're like, damn, I have a Beyonce song, but you just took a whole giant chunk of the publishing, and then I still have to pay the publisher 20% of what's left. What the hell? Like, there's nothing left for me, you know. So yeah, we're just trying to like make the math a little better for the artists, you know. So for artists that may not be creating their own music, then yeah, you're gonna really need to like utilize Web3, because your publishing doesn't matter as much. You know, you're like selling a collectible or a product that your fans can interact with, that is gonna make you some money that goes directly to you, and no third parties, no middlemen, you know. So if you're a fan, it's kind of borderline, like I like to use this example, like borderline, like a OnlyFans or Patreon type model, but just using blockchain instead. You know, like, people can choose what they want to, how they want to support you, how much they're able to, and some people will be able to support you in a giant way, and some people can only give you like $5, but it all helps, you know.
Yeah.
And it goes directly to you. Nobody's touching it. So, yeah, I'm trying to preach this thing, man. to save as many artists' lives as I can.
You're getting the word out there really well.
And I'm not an artist or anything, but I really appreciate that you're doing this, because I know a bunch of my buddies that would really appreciate it, that do music and stuff like that. And I just can't wait for them to hear this episode so they can be a part of something like this in the future too.
Yeah, artists are getting screwed left, right, and center, man. And this is why Web3 is working out well even for visual artists, because auction houses and galleries do the same thing to them. They'll take like a giant chunk of the painting or the artwork once it gets sold, and then the artist is like, damn. And then there's like fees and whatever that you have to pay. So someone might pay $1 million for your piece, but you're not taking $1 million home. So it's just like, damn, that sucks. So they figured out, like, well, if I just put it up on Foundation myself, there's gonna be a fine art collector who like totally wants it, and they can have the option to say, like, look, just buy the NFT. The NFT is not the art. The NFT is just verifying that you own the art, and I'll ship you the piece, like, for real. And you actually have the art, same thing. Just using blockchain for the transaction instead of going through some third party that's going to rinse you out.
Yeah, that third party sucks.
Yeah, so it's just much more empowering for the artist. But I always warn, if you like being a lazy artist, sign with a label. Don't do this Web3 thing. Don't, because you're not going to make it unless you like go hard. You have to be cool with like putting yourself out there a lot and like being accessible, which is totally the opposite model of Web2. It's like the artist is up here and the people are there and you can't access them, and a ton of money just gets pumped into promoting them and convincing you that you want to be them, right? Or you want to be their friend, or you want to marry them, or whatever the case is. But in Web3, you're going to have to put in that work to build that community around you. And you're going to have a personal, like, actual engagement with your community, like, regularly and consistently. So whether that means you have to set up a Discord where you jump in there, maybe even if it's only once a week, like, you do a little AMA or something, just let anybody come up and talk to you, or just like actually reply to people, keep them engaged. You got to do that. You're going to have to put in a lot of work at this stage, because we have no idea how things will evolve. But like, if you're trying to get into Web3 now, like, yeah, you can't be lazy. If you want to be chilling, then the sacrifice you make for chilling and having everyone do everything for you all the time and whatever it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom.
One or the other. Freedom, but work hard. Or chill and be broke. and be like fake lit,
Well, that's how it should be, though. If you work hard and go out there and make it,
exactly,
like, we got you.
So the artists who work the hardest in Web3 are the ones that will do the best. They'll succeed the most,
Right on.
Yeah, the more artists that can change, because Web2, it is a mentality, right? We're programmed. So it's also very difficult for artists to like unprogram and like unlearn and relearn a new way. And so, yeah, some of Web2 artists are going to be coming into Web3 like, what? They're accustomed being like really exclusive, like, I have to talk to people all the time. Like, shit, like, no, like, I have to be on spaces. Like, I have to like do virtual performances. Like, like they may not want to do all of that. And you have to kind of like reset their minds so they understand, like, don't look at it as work. Like, look at it as like just having fun with people who actually love you. Like, wouldn't you want that as a life than like breaking your back for people to fake love you, for like a corporation to take the majority of your earnings? If you kind of have to like reset your mind, and then it doesn't, and then you're like, yeah, the other way does sound kind of dumb. And I don't want to be dumb. So let me do it this other way instead,
You see that like with almost every industry now. Like before, if you were a famous stand-up comedian, for example, you would really want to get on Conan or something, or late night show. But now it's like, if you get on Joe Rogan, which is just a podcast, it's like, that's because people want to know who you are. They don't want to
Mhm.
just see what they're painting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's a like the ethos of Web3. Like we always preach, don't try to sell the product. Like just sell yourself. Just like, keep showing up, literally, because the space is so small right now. It's like one small neighborhood. Like like we know each other because of Twitter, and like
Yeah.
we're being a part,
Mhm.
like in the same community, like by being in the same NFT projects, and it's like a small town at this point. So I kind of feel like the best way is for you to just introduce yourself to the community and like let people get to know you, and then they'll start asking like, hey man, like we see you around here all the time, what are you into, man, what's and then you get to be like, well, I actually make music, man. And then they're like, and then they're going to your
Yeah.
page and like, let me check you out. Yo, he's dope. And then they're telling other people, and then it kind of grows from there, And next thing you know,
Mhm.
someone's like, would you come into this space and play some guitar and sing for us? And
Yeah.
then the space
Yeah.
might have like 100 people in it. That's a lot more mileage than just paying Spotify like hundreds of dollars to hope that you get playlisted, to hope that 1,000 people like even know your music is out, and then
Right.
even if the 1,000 people listen, you're still not even getting any money.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, to me, I would rather put like make the investment be me than like money. Like
Mhm.
Right.
people, if you think of who your favorite celebrity is, it's not because you think that they're the best actor of all of the actors, or it's something like you learn some cool stuff about them personally, or you like the way that they interact or how they talk, or even something silly like the way they laugh, or that they're funny, or that they're really
Right.
kind. Like you
Mhm.
see them doing kind things and you're like, I love this guy and I'm going to support everything he does, or whatever,
Right.
that goes a much longer way. And I always say in Web3, like your network is your net worth. It's early, so it might change later down, but right now, it really is like who your network is, like who knows you, who knows about you, who's telling other people about you, which is kind of a thing
Mhm.
in Web 2 too. In the normal world, you
Mhm.
kind of hear is who you know, but the fact is that this is how this is just how our brains work, and it's kind
Mhm.
of the same way in Web3. If people know you and they know about you and they like you, they're much more likely to support you and tell other people about you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. You probably heard the Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
So
Drake.
Charlemagne was saying,
Yeah, I love Soulja Boy. He's the goat.
he is. Yeah, and that's what they were saying. Like a lot of people don't realize, but when it came to like Web 2,
Hmm.
he was kind of like that innovator in
Yep.
terms of like, streaming and getting his stuff out there. What was the big thing he did that like
Well, he taught. He was basically like the first artist to like blow up on YouTube like that. He
right.
he utilized YouTube to get popular, but not only YouTube, but also remember they had like LimeWire and like what was it called, like Kazaa and whatever, like all these weird file sharing platforms. And he was
Mhm.
really smart because he would be like, no one knows who I am. If I throw this up on there, they're not gonna download Soulja Boy. And he would he's like the ultimate troll. So he would name
Yeah.
the file like 50 Cent in the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And then people would download like 50 Cent in the club. I hear, yo! And then they'd be like, well, I like this.
Yeah.
Damn,
Right.
I got trolled, but I'm glad I did. Like, this is hard. And then yeah, he was the first person to utilize to drop like a music video like that on YouTube. And then it started going crazy. And then he was, I guess, also one of the earlier people that was able to monetize his YouTube. And because he was getting so many streams, like he was making like bank, like
Oh yeah.
really fast.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was the person who really took advantage of like video streaming. And also he was like one of the heavy like SoundCloud artists, just like put your music out for free and just let people experience it, like build up a grassroots following. So he was also
Right.
doing the same thing that happens in Web3, and then I think he really sparked it in artists' minds, like about being more independent. And he did end up signing deals. I'm sure because they probably were giving him like a giant bag in advance. But then as he went through the labels as well, he learned like, I don't like this. This is not it. And then he goes back independent again. Like, you know, he was signed to Interscope. He hated it. He didn't have the creative control he usually had. He didn't want to be told what to do. And now we have NBA Young Boy, the number one freaking streaming artist on the planet. And you've never heard one of his songs on the radio, ever. Because they can't play on the radio.
Yeah.
But he's dominated YouTube like globally. You know, he's the biggest artist on that platform, like by miles.
That's crazy.
And he makes a bank just from YouTube. You know, so yeah, those guys they paved the way for us, man. And then like we already mentioned Nipsey Hussle. You know, I'm sure he was like looking at Soulja Boy like, this kid is smart. I'm gonna do it his way instead. You know, so yeah.
That's what made me think of him when you said Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, like, rest in peace, man. That still upsets me so much, but yeah. He's a legend. He'll always be.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Roy, do you have any more questions you want to ask?
No, I am actually just so thrilled that you were on here today.
Yeah.
I really think that like my mind has been really opened up because I mean, as like a fan, I love music and I really just never knew what people had to go through. And I just think this episode has been amazing to just get a feel for that. And also it was perfect the way it went because like we also now understand why Web3 is such a valuable asset. So just thank you so much for being on here. I did an amazing job explaining.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about a lot of things, but it's all, you see the same reaction that you had. Like, you're like, man, like, so my favorite artist is dealing with this? Man. So really the only artists who benefit from maybe like record deals are the ones who get so big that they also have like giant endorsements and they, you know, and they tour all the time and like, you know, they can sell like tons of merch, you know what I mean? And let's face it, like 99.9% of the artists that are signed, they're not gonna get that big, you know. There's not really room for like everyone to be number one, you know. So yeah, so Web3 is for artists who kind of want to do it a slightly different way, like who may not be interested in all that. Like they may not even be interested in being famous, you know, like they just love making music and they just want, you know, to be like, to build up a small group that can enjoy them and that they can eat. You know? So yeah. And there are going to be artists that will come through Web3 that just end up going viral through the community and then they'll tell their regular friends about it in real life, and that artist very well might blow up like mainstream. But the best thing about it is that they would have started in Web3, and as they grow, all that money is going to be theirs, and they would have already proven like, dude, I don't need all of that. Like, I did this Web3 thing, and for whatever reason, my talent and my engagement in the community got me to where now you guys are paying attention to me. Like, why would I? And then they are going to get offered deals. And they're going to be able to be like, I'm so good. Like, I just made 20 ETH. Like, what are you talking about? Like, good, you know?
And then someone's like, what even
yeah,
is
exactly.
Like,
yeah, man. So I know the labels are already coming over here. They already put together groups of artists and producers that own Bored Apes, and they're making a band. And I'm pretty sure, I forgot which label, but they're already setting up like an NFT department. And it sucks because what it means is that the artist, they're going to just add that to the 360, you know? So like an artist, if you get signed, they will tell you off the bat, no, you don't get to just go put out your own NFT project. No, you can't even, we have to tell you when you can do that and how. And we get some of it, most of it. They're just going to do the same thing with that, you know? So they're probably going to have like a label wallet or something.
Oh,
that
that's so annoying.
That mints all the NFTs and all the sales go to them. And then they like cut the artists a small piece. It's going to be insane. And that's gonna break my heart when that starts happening, because I just know it will. But you know, at least we would have laid the blueprint, and at least hopefully we can make enough noise that we can save a lot of artists, and not, you know, we won't be able to save everyone, but at least, you know, if we save a bunch of artists, then that's 5,000 people screaming loudly at the other artists, and they can save 5,000 more, and you know, it could just mushroom like that, hopefully over time. But yeah, we're trying to set a new trend.
Awesome.
Oh, I think it will.
Yeah.
You're also a holder of Meerkat Millionaires Country Club, aren't
I
you?
sure do. I have 2 of those babies, those bad boys.
Yeah, I love them. You got the the Gucci glasses
Hell
too.
yeah. I had to get gang. I was like, I need my Meerkat to be like super fly. What's funny is that I don't even care about Gucci in real life. But I thought I love the community. Like, they're so dope,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I know they got kind of like screwed over with a few things, but I feel like their goal of being like the Bored Apes of Solana is totally achievable. I think the community is like
Oh,
real strong,
100%.
and I love the way that they keep constantly like staying connected, and like really trying to do things as a community. And I love it, man. I love being America. All you gotta do is say "Brrr," and like they all come
For
flying
real.
out. I love it, man. That was actually my first. I'm pretty sure that was my first Solana NFT.
It was like the big blue chip.
Yeah.
It was like the first. I looked, at least when I first found out about Solana
Yeah.
NFTs, when I saw Meerkat Millionaires, I was like,
Yeah, I felt really
that's,
lucky
you know,
to
that's the Bored Ape.
get in there for sure.
And they're a DAO too,
Yeah.
which is great because everyone has, you know, a say in what happens and what
And I
doesn't.
love just seeing my 2 Meerkats sitting in my wallet, just making me money. I just love to see them
Yeah.
anything, and I come in and check later, and I have more Sol in my wallet. I love it. Who does so
Right, because you're getting rewards from it. Yeah.
for real. So if you're a Solana
And-
gang, you might want to grab a couple of those cats. It's worth it. They're gonna be around.
Definitely
so-
pick up some of those
Yeah.
cats. And also, there's domain names like .sol. You
Yeah.
can start buying those
Yeah,
now,
I
which is
noticed
pretty cool.
the Sol domains are out now. I only have like mad like ETH ones.
Yeah, because you get made fun of if you come in with the .sol. But
Yeah.
the thing is that I like that more because then it's kind of like a, you know, like a fuck you to
Yep.
guys with
Exactly.
.eth.
Yeah, I know. I have like all my ENS and Unstoppable domains all minted now, like all these different domains. But I'm gonna get my Sol one. I have to do it fast too, because anytime you're a public figure, people always like grab your domain and then make you like pay a lot of money for it. And I felt like I got so lucky. Like, I actually was like, Shontelle.eth is available. Are you kidding me? It's like,
Right.
I'm grabbing that, you know.
It's still available for .sol because I actually looked at it and I was thinking about getting it, but not to like hold against
Then
you.
gotta
I was
make
gonna
a
like
deal
give it
with
to you.
Like, come on.
But it is available.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm gonna get on that immediately.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Shontelle. This really meant a lot. You know, our audience is gonna be super happy that you came on. And you are our first famous person that has ever been on this podcast. So this is a milestone for our podcast.
Well,
And first female on here as well, so we appreciate it.
First female,
I
yeah,
feel
you're
like I'm
right.
always like one of the first girls in everything. That's interesting.
Well, you are like the leading Web3.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was a pleasure to be here with you guys. This was fun, and I'm happy to come back if you guys want to talk about anything else.
Oh,
in the
we'd love
future.
it.
Oh, awesome. Heck yeah.
But yeah,
I was a little
much
nervous, you know,
love
having
to
you
all
on.
your listeners and to your entire community.
Awesome. Well, they're gonna be so happy that we're gonna have this episode published, you know, next week, all nice and edited.
Sweet.
So you can't like see when I'm like squirming around or something.
I've been around a lot too. I'm like the most restless person ever, but you know,
It's hard not to be when you're like sitting in front of that,
yeah.
you know, webcam and you can see yourself. You're
Word.
like, oh, man.
You're like, am I sweating? Like, is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for giving me your platform to spread the word. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And we're gonna be putting 1331 Records Discord link and website link, and you know all of the links will be in the description below.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. Thank you guys.
Sweet.
Enjoy the rest of
All
your
right.
day.
Yep.
Yeah, you
looks like
too.
it's cold where you are, so stay warm.
Oh, it's Detroit. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
It's super
Yeah.
cold.
Call it a goal. I get it.
Yeah.
Stay warm, guys. And we'll talk soon.
All right. You too.
Peace.
All right. See ya.